Welcome to the one-on-one with Kevwe Modupe.
That's why they quickly take their uniform off because they are vulnerable.
There is no way, from the layman's point of view.
Thank you very much, Kevwe, to come and do their wire fell down and their what the R is V in mafia manager called the R Capone the Titi Capi became a worse godfather than every other.
Good afternoon. Welcome to 101 on TSN Nigeria TV. I really don't know how to start the show this afternoon. Should I begin by saying Happy Independence or Hopeful Independence Day to Nigeria? But we'll like to go straight to the main reason why we're here this afternoon. But before then, I want us to relax and watch this brief tape.
We're discussing about Nigeria, what people feel about Nigeria right now, whether they have a bad feeling or a good feeling about Nigeria. And now we'll be going to the streets to hear the views of people.
Well, the first thing I have to say is that when you look at the economy generally, you see that there's nothing to write home about the economies of Nigeria. Why? Because our leaders, some of the benefit that Nigeria is supposed to have, we are not really having them. And when you look at the economy, you see that the whole economy have reduced drastically. You see that nothing really lively is going on. So what I can really say that we are celebrating, we are just celebrating life, that at least from October 1st to the next October 1st, there's life. So for that cause, we have to be happy.
Can't be excited that we are celebrating independence. There's nothing to celebrate. Yeah, if you may see now, or if you may look, bag of rice now is how much? It's about 25,000 naira. If before this present dispensation came on board, bag of rice was about 16,000, 17,000 naira. So why are we celebrating? Our kids are there, you know, they like eating rice. So we can't even afford to buy a bag of rice. Even one cup at times is something. So why are we celebrating this present dispensation when the present governments are not giving us the reasons to celebrate the independence? We can't. There's nothing to celebrate about it.
You and I know that nothing is happening in this country. We're supposed to go back to our colonized people that colonize us. Let us go back to them. Let us call them. Let us invite them to come and colonize us again. We don't have leaders. Everybody knows that we don't have leaders in this country. Our problem is leadership. Let the white come and take over this country.
Don't wish Nigeria anything, because the problem that we have in this Nigeria is our leaders. Let our leaders let us enjoy this Nigeria, because they are the problem. Yeah, we have bad leaders.
This Nigeria, maybe your salary, we know where to do, where to go. 59 years independent, no light, no water. What are we suffering for this Nigeria? Nigeria for sale, the bomb better off. Since morning I never eat, I don't get work. Upon school where I get. What am I doing? When I get salary, make we do say that we other British have better pass. That more countries all lying down. A cup of rice 120. No water, no light.
I wish Nigeria success, but the economy is very bad. People are suffering. If you look at everywhere today, things are very hard. You see, and the economy is very bad. So at a 59-year-old Nigerian independence, Nigeria is supposed to progress more than this.
Presently now, things are hard in Nigeria. With the youth, we are suffering. I heard the other day that the president said we are lazy. We are not lazy. How can somebody like me, I'm an educated person, I'm here in the junction hustling for job, for daily job. It's a pity. 59 years is not a joke. It's not a joke at all. Presently, as I'm speaking now, there's no light. There's no light. Thank God, source of water we get now is from the borehole. We don't used to buy water again or whatever. But the power to power it, for it to be using, we cannot see power. And we have a minister of power. He has been there for 4 years. He's there again now. Nothing to write home about. I heard that they celebrated 100 years of being in the office for the second term or now. Nothing to write to me back. I believe in the other day in America, in Canada, they said the highest physician there is from Nigeria. We have so many intellectual men, youth here in Nigeria that are living abroad. And I don't believe most of their children will come to this Nigeria and be living as we are living here. We are in bondage. I must say the truth, we are in the bondage. The leaders, they should watch very well. They should think back, and think back how during before the independence, how we were living in this country. We don't have any other country. We cannot say this Nigeria again. But all we need to do now, everybody should be in the prayer.
Happy independence to you all. I will still say happy independence anyway, even when we know that Nigeria is not a good country anymore, because we don't know what to say concerning Nigeria. Our directors, our government, people that are leading us are not leading us well, but we don't have any choice but to manage and keep things going, like keep life going. We just pray for a better tomorrow. That's what we have to do, and celebrate that we are, I don't know if we are 58 or 59. But whatever age that we are, we thank God for making us to see today at all.
There are certain things that will happen. So we only just pray to God, because the country has been there for the past years. One thing you should know, anything that has well for people to get it right, it is very difficult. So we are only begging God. One day I believe, with my hope and all, with the help of God, God will rectify everything in this country. It's not by power. So what is anything that destroy, before you put it right, it will be very hard. It is very difficult.
The way forward that our leaders should improve.
I believe one day, I believe on God, that one day God will send us a Messiah that will lead us to the promised land, and it's going to be among the youth.
Happy independence to you all. Thank you.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates.
Welcome back. It's time for us to meet my guest for today, Mr. Fares Okpere. He's a political analyst and a renowned social media influencer. Mr. Fares, you're welcome. Now the question is this. You heard what that man said. He said, come on, should we ask the whites to come back and recolonize us? The question, I'm going to start off this conversation this afternoon by asking this question. Did we obtain our independence too soon? Were we ripe for independence as at the time we obtained it?
Well, yes, to a large extent, because there was a wave of countries at that time were actually trying to relieve themselves from the grip of neo-colonialism, and because of the atrocities of many of the colonial masters and what they did, people were yearning to be free from them. So I wouldn't subscribe to the idea that we didn't get or it was too early for us to have left the colonial masters. No, what the problem actually with us is that we've not taken advantage of our opportunities, and that is what we are suffering today. We've not really laid a solid foundation that we develop our country. Because if you go back to 1960 when we got independence, those who were leaders at that time, if you see, there was no concrete plan for the future. There was no plan for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And that's where we are today.
Okay.
Because we've not made enough plans to cater for our future as Nigerians. And if you go back, you see that the agitation by Nigerians at that time, because when the colonial masters, when they left a lot of problems also. And part of those problems was that they they gave power to a bloc, you know, a part of the country where they were not very productive. And part of it was because they knew that the only way to keep Nigerians' unity is to allow resources be in one side and allow power be in the other side. And that was how power was given to the Northern.
Okay, now before we come to that, now, if you permit me to quote John C. Maxwell, he said, everything rises and falls on leadership. Now, there's something you said now that, come on, these guys, they were as the ones we had, the leaders we had. I wouldn't want to use the word leaders, but because you use the word leaders, I'm going to use the word leaders now. The leaders we had as at then in 1960, these guys were not prepared for leadership.
Yeah, you're right, because they were very young.
So is that not enough for us to say that we got this independence when we're not ready for it?
Well, I will agree to that we got it when we were ready for it, because Nigerians at that time craved for it. What we've had a system, because if you go back to 1953, you see the constitution, the richest constitution of 1953 is still the best constitution we've ever had. It's a constitution that guaranteed the rights of Nigerians. It was a constitution that separated power. You know, it was a constitution that did concentrate power at the central level. So that's, to me, has been the best constitution we had. Pre-independence constitution.
Okay.
Now, those who became leaders after independence, or who were the leaders during the independence struggle, they ended it because they fought for it. There was a struggle for independence, and they ended it at that time.
Okay.
So what we had was that also at that time there was this this ethnic rivalry, which is still
prevalent today.
Prevailing in Nigeria today. You know, that ethnic rivalry affected our group, because Nigerians at that time, even till now, they didn't know why they got independence.
Okay.
Though they wanted independence, but they didn't know why they got independence. So one part of the country was kind of in darkness, while the other side was in light. You know, I'm not talking about development, I'm talking about in terms of the people. The Easterners, as at that time, because of their level of education and their level of awareness, controlled everything in Nigeria. They controlled the civil service, they controlled power, they controlled almost everything. And then the North was not happy with that. That was what led to the Civil War. When the North took over power, the East complained of marginalization, and then before you knew it, Nigeria was back in Civil War. That one alone dragged the country back for another 50 years. That is what we are suffering today. And if you look, it took the ingenuity of the Easterners to be able to come out of that bloody civil war where 1 million Nigerians died, and redevelop themselves to where they are today. You know, whereas the North that has always had power for the 60 years, the 59 years that we have been an independent country now, the North have had power for more than 70% of that time. And they've not been able to use that power to develop their region.
I will subscribe to you pushing this argument towards ethnic lines.
No, but you cannot argue the independence of Nigeria
without looking at that, looking from that point.
And go into it.
Okay, so in a nutshell, we feel Nigeria, we're ready for independence as when we got it.
As when we got it, we were ready.
Okay.
But we didn't take. It's not about getting independence. What do you do with your independence? America got independence in the 17th century.
Okay.
From the British. What did they do with the independence? They fought a bloody war with the British. The British stopped the conquest of the Spanish, and then after that, the Americans stopped the conquest of the British. But what America was able to do with independence can be seen. Today, America is the greatest country in the world. They're the greatest power in the world today. So it's not about just getting independent. What are you willing to do with that thing?
Good. That justifies the saying.
That's what we call
the saying that when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is inevitable.
Of course.
That means we actually negotiated for an item that we had no use of.
Of course.
Good. Now, the Civil War. You made mention of the Civil War.
Yes.
Do you think, or don't you think that the Civil War is among the reasons why the Nigeria of our dream has not yet come to reality? Because you said it took us like 10 years backwards.
Well, it did take us backwards, but the Civil War cannot be blamed for all our problems. Now let's look at Germany. In 1917, I think 1914, Germany went into the First World War, and then they came out, they lost the war. There was a Great Depression in 1930-something, and the country was in complete shambles. Then came Hitler. Hitler grew in the country, gave them that confidence that they went to the Second World War. They came out of that war, they lost to the Allies, and in 1990-something, Germany was in shambles. There was a war. The eastern part of Germany was controlled by the Soviets. The western side was controlled by the Americans and the free world. And then in the early 90s, they brought down the wall. And then from there was this unity and progress. And if you go to Germany today, you'll be astonished. Germany has gone from a country that was on its knees after the war to a country that people are now rushing to for opportunities. The greatest country in Europe, the biggest economy in Europe, the most developed European country. You know, so that's where they are. They are right now. Just from early 90s, where there was a wall dividing the eastern part to the western part. Now, we had a war, the Civil War started in Nigeria in 1967, I think. And then, after the war ended, what have we been able to achieve as a nation in over 40 years? What have we developed? The electricity we are using today was pre-colonial. Was the structure that was put in place before the Civil War. You know, so nothing has improved. We still have, we are still generating the mega 4,000 megawatts of electricity that the colonial masters left when they handed over power in 1960. So in 59 years, we've not been able to develop our country.
Now, I want to interject now and make this point known. You said something in your discourse now that the Germans, they felt that for us to develop, for us to grow our country again, we need unity for progress.
Yes.
Now, the question I want to ask is this, because there's a saying that you can't make progress when there's war. You can't develop when you're having crisis.
Yes.
Now, the question I want to ask is this. Are we united as a nation? Because there is saying that unity in diversity. That is almost like a cliche. Unity, we have diverse opinion, diverse culture. Everything is diverse in this country. But are we united as a nation? And don't you think that's one of the reasons why we are not progressing as a nation?
Yes, that's part of the reason. One of the reasons why we're not progressing. We're not united as a nation. We're only united as a territory.
Okay.
Not as a nation. You know, because people misunderstand unity as a territory and unity as a nation. You know, America is united as a nation. America is also called the United States of America. And how did they coin that name? The United States of America, you know, before now was a territory controlled largely by the Spanish. Different states, different territories. And then at one point after the American Civil War, they decided to become one country, one nation. And in the Constitution, they also made it clear that if you're not happy with the union, you're not happy with the unity we have, you're not happy to be part of it, you can leave. So they gave rooms to those who were not happy, or who felt that if their interests is no longer represented, that they can leave. They gave room for that. And ever since then, they've been united. you know. So we, as Nigerians, we are only united as a territory, not as a nation. So that's why we still have this, we still pursue primordial interests, ethnic interests. Today we have a president that is purely an ethnic jingoist.
We're going to come to that later on. Let me. Please, at this point in time, I want to state it that every opinion expressed by my guests on this show is purely his and does not reflect what TSA Nigeria stands for. Now, you said something, Nigeria, we were brought together as one.
Yes.
Yeah, the coming together of two persons signifies a union. And we are quite aware that you can be a union and not be united. You understand me? Good. So, which means that Nigeria, we have a union. Maybe we should use the word union state of Nigeria.
Like I told you before, I said we are united in territory.
Territory, okay. So, but we don't have that unity. Now, the question I want to ask is this. Do you think our colonial masters are to be blamed for this? Because from your explanation so far, this disunity in the nation did not just start today.
No.
Right from the word go,
yes,
we've been disunited.
Of course.
So our colonial masters, do they have any role to play as far as this is concerned?
Yes, they have a big role to play. In 1914, when Sir Lugard, you know,
amalgamated
the country, you know, we had a protectorate of the south and the north.
Nigeria.
And then he decided to bring the north and the south together. That was a big mistake.
Why?
I tell you. Because if you look at the north, we are culturally different. You know, the north is largely a Muslim part of the north.
They are bringing religion into the discourse
now.
No,
it's not about the religious aspect.
Okay.
It's about the cultural side.
Okay.
You understand?
But there's no culture called Muslim culture.
No, it's not. I'm just going there.
Okay.
You know, it's largely Muslim. Then culturally they are very different. If you take an Igbo man, the culture of an Igbo man, the culture of an Hausa man, is like Lagos and Kano. It's very different. If you take the culture of an Igbo man and take the culture of an Edo man, you can see some similarities. They have some history.
Okay.
If you take the culture of a Bini man and take the culture of a Urubu man, you see that it's almost the same thing. If you take the culture of a Ishakiri man and take that of an Edo man, you see that it's just like this. There's no difference. If you take the culture of an Isha man and Bini man, you cannot differentiate it.
That's true.
You understand? So these people have some cultural history together. And then when you take that of an Edo man and a
Hausa
man, there's a large difference.
Okay.
Not just about the religious difference. Because even before the independence, Nigeria had even before the amalgamation, we were not really a religious country. You know, Nigeria was known as a secular country. Even to today, Nigeria is still officially regarded as a secular country.
Okay.
So we're mostly pagan worshippers, you know. So before the advent of Christianity in the south and Muslim religion in the north, Nigerians were not following, as at that time, those in this our region, because we're not Nigerians then, we're just people living in this region.
Okay.
Those in the areas we call Cameroon today and Nigeria, they were just people living their lives without any religion. Nobody was Muslim, nobody was Christian. All they had was their culture, their tradition, and their personal beliefs.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
The Easterners were worshipping their Amaduhas, those in the south and all that were worshipping their Oguns and all that. So there was no foreign religion. It was at the advent of foreign religion that we started to have these differences, you know, these known differences, because we could manage our own cultural differences before. But the religious differences came and drove a wedge.
So you are equally saying now that the disunity we're having in the country is throwing more on the religious part.
No. Your question was if the colonial masters had a role
to play in this disunity, yeah.
And that's it. Who brought?
So it's religion that they brought
Who brought religion?
Okay, the whites. Okay, so they are this.
Colonial masters are not only to Nigeria, to Africa.
Okay, so it's the religion they brought that disunited us.
Religion is divisive.
Okay.
Everywhere in the world, religion play a divisive role for people.
Okay.
You understand? If you go to the countries where they have practically no religious inclinations, you see that they are far more developed. They are far more. The people are far more exposed. Let's take Australia for example. Let's take Norway for example. In Norway, there's no particular religion. So everybody is like a free thinker. It's a very developed country, very progressive country. Same with Australia. You know, Australia used to be a very peaceful country before the Christian terrorists, let me put it that way, started attacking people and thinking that the same happened also in Norway. Norway used to be a very peaceful country until some infiltration of other religious groups started coming in, and then those who felt that they were the original owners of the country felt that their religion is Christianity, and they started attacking others. So you see that to a large extent, religion plays a major role.
Okay, so which means that
and the colonial masters, to get access to Africa, they have to bring religion, they have to bring education.
Okay.
You understand? Why education has done a lot in opening the minds of the people, religion hasn't done that much.
Okay, that we are saying that they brought religion to open our mind, and no, they brought education to open our mind. I used religion to close our mind.
No, they didn't close with the concept. The concept of the. I don't want to make this conversation about religion, but the concept of religion is peace.
Okay.
But you know, humans are very troublesome. You know, we're a very troublesome creature, and we don't know how to utilize these things to gain peace. You understand? We've not been able to use religion in Africa, you know, not just in Nigeria, in Africa, to maximize the profits to build peace.
Okay.
What we've had is we've not used it as a tool to divide ourselves.
Okay.
And that's not the idea of religion in the first place.
And maybe that's the reason why you see most times, whenever we are involved in any political argument in this country, and our politicians, they have a way, they want to have their way, they quickly bring religion.
Yes, they use religion.
They hardly bring a tribe.
Let's take an example. In 2014, when President Muhammadu Buhari was campaigning, in the north, he said it openly that Muslims should only vote for someone who's a Muslim. And in the south, he preaches a very different thing. And that is very wrong. That's very wrong politics.
Why is it wrong?
President Jonathan, as at that time, and his handlers were also using religion as a tool to campaign in the south. They went to churches and said in churches,
they want to Islamize Nigeria.
They want to Islamize Nigeria. And that is wrong. And you see that politicians quickly take advantage of these loopholes to create disunity. Also, an average Nigerian goes to a church and he's being told that, if President Muhammadu Buhari wins, he's going to Islamize Nigeria.
Okay. And that has further divided us as a nation.
And you see people start to feel...
Maybe that's the reason why, because we now have a Muslim president, or a president is a Muslim, because they've already sowed this seed in us that the man is not our own. It's not a Christian. For that reason, there's nothing he does that we should believe in him.
Well, that was sold to many people. But President Muhammadu Buhari, with all due respect to him, is not a bad president because he's a Muslim.
Okay.
No. You know, we've had...
So we are going to come to the issue of the individuals that have led this country, because President Buhari is not the only president that have led this country from independence. Yes. See, now we've had lots of them.
Muhammadu Buhari and General Sani Abacha are the worst presidents.
No, we're not going to. Like we said earlier on, the opinion is actually your opinion as far as being there is concerned. But let's look at it from this point. Now you're bringing out Abacha, you're bringing out Buhari.
Yes.
But have you forgotten this thing they call foundation? In anything you're doing, if I want to quote from the scripture, they say the foundation is destroyed. What can the righteous do?
That's true.
There's a way you lay a system that's a neophyte or somebody that is not right cannot step into that position. Why? Because of the kind of foundation that you have laid. Yes. So don't you think it's the 40 foundation, 40 leadership foundation we have? Yes. That's the reason why we're having people that are incompetent. There's a message I listened to on Sunday that was mind-blowing. It's saying that Africa as a nation is a 5-skilled nation or a 5-talent nation being ruled by 1 talent man. You understand my point? Because we don't have people that have leadership capacity, and therefore they can come into the system and the system will accept them. But if we have the right foundation, don't you think the right foundation will have a way of pushing these guys aside that, come on, you cannot fit into this shoe?
Well, you are very correct.
Because you're trying to exonerate those guys.
No, you're very correct.
Good.
We've had a 40 foundation. That's something I also said initially. You know, we've had a 40 foundation from the beginning, you know, because we had a constitution that in itself is 40.
Okay.
You understand? Now, if you go back and you see that it is that 40 foundation that has promoted this 40 system that we have. You know, that's why it will be very difficult to change Nigeria until we change and get a constitution that guarantees
all inclusive.
Yes, that's all inclusive.
Okay.
You know, because if you take for example, you see that let's look at let's go back to 1998. You know, when they were trying to put up a new constitution for Nigeria after the demise of Sani Abacha. You know, even before Abacha died, they were trying to get a new constitution because Abacha was under serious pressure to relinquish power or democratize Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, he was trying to become a democratic president. So, you know, at that time, people were already endorsing him to be president, life president, oh this, oh that. And before he died. So when he died, the constitution they were already drafting, they just took it and they just made small touches to it, and then that was the 1999 constitution. The constitution centralizes power. There's a big difference between that constitution and the 1953 constitution, the Richards constitution, that decentralizes power, which means power was the federal government was only holding about 25% of the power in the country. But right now, power is so centralized because Abacha was thinking that he would be president, so he wanted everything to be in his stew. So he while drafting the constitution, he made it clear to them that power has to be central, and decentralized power. Today, even the governors, there are very little they can do. If you go to the federal...
Really? Governors? Yes. I think governors are the most powerful humans on earth.
What I mean, there are very little they can do.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to federal roads now, all the federal roads in the country, they're shambles.
Mm-hmm.
The federal government ordinarily should not have business. We say we copy American democracy. The American federal government does not build federal roads. The American federal government is mostly in charge of interior, defense. Those are the major things that they're in charge of. You have a federal government that is in charge of almost all the agencies. You have a federal government that is in charge of controlling federal roads. You have a federal government that is in charge of road safety. You understand? In an ideal federalist state, the federal government is not in charge of those things.
Or shouldn't be in charge.
Yeah, you know. So there's too much power. And that's a 40 foundation. That's when we talk about 40 foundation. That's part of the 40 foundation. The constitution of Nigeria is 40. Now let's take another example. If you are 18 years in Nigeria, you can vote. That's what the constitution says.
Yes,
but the same constitution does not allow you as an 18 years old to be voted for. That itself is a fault. Which means if I'm 18 and I have all the knowledge and I've gone through school and I can vote, why can't I be voted for? That's a fault. Secondly, the constitution of Nigeria made it open that anybody can be president. That's fine. But it doesn't make it clear the educational qualifications of that person. That's a fault. That's a fault because nowhere in the world where you just go and then anybody can be president. For you to have a sound mind, that person must have gone through some level of education. Maybe particularly tertiary education. But it's the way you just make it open to
does that have, I want to ask you a question, does that have anything to do with leadership?
Yes, it has. Because if you go back to the history of Nigeria and the presidents and the leadership that we have, you see that we've been led by mostly semi-illiterates. Mostly semi-illiterates.
Okay, you feel that's one of the reasons why we are not well developed?
Yes. Well, we had Shehu Shagari, elected president of Nigeria. President of Nigeria was an NCE.
I feel that's not enough for him to really...
No, it wasn't enough. You know, it wasn't enough. Because...
But we've seen some naturally endowed leaders that are not having the supposed educational qualification, but they are naturally endowed and they are doing very well. So because especially in this 21st century, you can have a school staff that have gone through leadership training and the guy is sound.
No, please, who are the naturally endowed leaders in the world, around the world, that didn't go through school, that are doing very well?
Because have you forgotten that this education you are talking of is among the gifts you said the masters they brought for us that have divided this country?
Yes. No, you understand?
Because it's one of those gifts we are given. Which means that we are living, because the point I want us to establish here is this. Because like what we said, the central topic that is, we want to be looking at followership and leadership, compared with leadership. Yes. Before these guys came in, we existed as a people.
Yes.
And we're doing very well. Yes. I want to believe that even the colonial masters, they admired our society. That's why they came.
Of course.
I said, then we had leaders. We had the Obas. We had the Noges. Yeah, and these guys, they don't have educational qualification as a then. And they were leading us. There was no civil war then. There was no religious. There was no Kano riots. There was no the Benin massacre. These guys were leading us because leadership doesn't have any connection with education.
Okay. I studied political science.
Great.
And in political science, there's a branch called political administration.
Okay.
So there's a difference between somebody just being a leader and being an administrator.
Okay, good.
Understand? So what we had pre-colonial times, you have leaders.
Okay.
You have monarchs.
Mm-hmm.
You have absolute leaders, dictators.
Okay.
Now.
And they are not good administrators.
No. Were they having a complex system to administer over?
They had a system.
You had a time where people were ruling, and they were ruling based on traditional beliefs.
Okay.
Their own territories based on traditional beliefs.
And they have laws.
They have laws.
That if you break the laws,
yes,
you will be punished for it.
There's a time, even till now, there's a time where in your house, if you speak against the Oba and somebody hears you, just say something against the Oba. It's a very big problem.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you have to do some certain cleansing. You have to.
And it works for them then.
It works for them. But now, that's why I say, when I talk about administration, now you have a complex systems of agencies and all that to administer over. That's different from a monarch. You understand? That's far different. So what we have right now, we have a system where we don't have good administrators.
Okay, but we have good leaders.
We still don't even have good leaders. So you don't even have a good leader. How can you have a good administrator?
Okay.
You understand? We don't have good. Now let's look at it very clearly. Now you have a FEMA that is giving a budget of over 100 billion annually to patch holes on federal roads, and you want to go from Benin to Auchi, you spend 4 hours on the road for a journey that is less than 150 kilometers. It doesn't make sense. It shows a failure of governance.
System failure.
Yes. Right now, Nigeria is at a stage of, we're almost like a failed state.
Maybe we use the word autopilot.
Almost, yes.
Okay.
You know, because nothing is working.
Okay.
It doesn't look like we have a government in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a government in Nigeria, you will not become the poverty capital of the world.
I want to ask you a question now, because I know your political inclination. I know where you lie. I know where you lie. I know where your political belief lies. But I want to say something now. The issue now is because we are going straight into the political aspect of this discourse now. Was it better off in the last dispensation? Because if really you're talking about Nigeria a failed state, were we not failing then when Nigeria felt that there's need for us to have change?
We wasn't failing.
What was happening there? We're collapsing.
How you call it? In let me give you an example.
15 million Nigerians came out.
No. Now, 80 million Nigerians slip into extreme poverty.
Okay. In this administration?
Yes.
Okay.
In India has the highest population in the world. China has one of the highest populations in the world. India, you have 1.3 billion people. I think you should have about the same number in China.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have up to 80 million, extremely poor. Extremely poor. The same with China. Now, you come to Nigeria, we're told that we have 200 million people, which is not confirmed because I don't know which census they've done in the last 10 years.
It's a spiritual one.
That they got that figures from. And we have 80 million extremely poor. That's people who cannot spend $1 in a day. They are so poor that they cannot spend 300 naira in a day. They cannot afford it. So in a week, they cannot afford 1,000 naira to spend. That's extreme poverty. They cannot spend it on food. They cannot spend it on medicine. They cannot spend it on healthcare. They cannot spend it on transportation. 300 naira in a day. Okay,
I actually feel that this administration is responsible.
The policies
of this.
I'm not saying that we didn't have problems before, but the magnanimity of problems that we have now were created.
Now, Mr. Fares, you know what? I would like us to be. Which word am I going to use now? I would like us to be sincere with this discourse. Because what we're trying to do, we're not trying to bastardize the administration. We're not trying to further group in this problem we're already into. We're trying to look for a way, okay, since there are a lot of persons that are listening to this, let us look for a way that we can even profile our 1% solution to the problem that we have on ground. The question is this, let's look at it from your car that you're using at home. You have a car, you drive a car here. Yes. Okay, now, when you get a car, you know where that, but the any day you drive the car, your car is actually heading towards destruction. Yeah. It's going to start the first year, second year, third year. No matter what you do, you will know that the way this car is going to break down one day. Yes. Now the question is this: we are looking at it from the angle that okay, Buhari is not doing anything. The policy direction of this government is not setting. But are we looking at it from this angle that come on, this system has been failing? And the direction that we are heading towards now, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is the direction that we must head towards because it has been failing since. This system is heading, not until something drastic is done. This is the outcome that every Nigerian should be expecting.
Every country went through drastic moments to find their glory. Take Egypt, for example. Take Tunisia, for example. Take the United States, for example. Take Germany, for example. Every country went through that moment where it has to choose between life and death. Okay. So we've not been able to decide if we want a country worthy to call our own. Okay. We've not done that. Okay. That's why people will tell you, oh, Nigeria, we are far too diverse to have a revolution. And when they tell you that, they have a point. They have a point. Because we have leaders who will quickly take advantage of our diversity, either religious or cultural, to plant seeds
of discord in us.
And it works for them.
It worked very well for them.
So the ship have been capsizing long before now. Okay. Long before now.
So where we are heading towards is an expected end.
Yes.
Unless something
something drastic.
Okay.
Something drastic. And when I say something drastic, it will take a complete change. Not the kind of change Buhari promised 2015. A complete change of attitude.
Okay.
Not only leadership attitude, also followership attitude.
Okay, good.
Because if you see, part of the problem we have is also from followership. We see where a politician will go to a place. They know this guy is good. They know he is good. Just because he doesn't have the money to spend. He doesn't get that support. The guy who is a criminal, who is a kidnapper comes and distributes money and he's voted for and he wins. In the House of Rest right now, you have people who are renowned Yahoo boys. Fraudsters. They are represented right now. Right now, they're represented. They're in House of Assemblies, they're in local governments, they're in federal House. They are senators right now. When you look
because they have the money to spend.
When you look at their history, you see that they were renowned fraudsters. So how do you expect people like that to make laws for you to develop your country? People with history of criminality. You understand?
So we, the people, the followers, we have failed.
We are part of the problem.
Okay, then the followership is a failure. Okay, good.
Run for, in 2016, I was running for the youth leadership of my party.
Okay.
While I was running for it, I don't believe in giving out money. I don't believe in buying support. You know, I lived abroad for a long time. My mentality is kind of different. Political mentality is different.
Okay.
I don't believe that you have to pay to get an office. It's not worth it for me. So when I started my campaign, I went through the normal process. I went through the leadership. I talked to them. I felt that the youth wing of the party needed somebody that has a little bit of vibrancy. And I felt that I have something to offer. So I started campaigning, I started going around, I traveled around, my car was on the road with my friends. We were going from Abuja to meet one leader, to Lagos.
Who are these leaders you guys always meet? I don't know the godfathers. You guys keep talking about leader in your political party structures.
I won't hide. I met with the party leadership.
Okay.
At that time, I met with Chief Aneni, I met with Tommy Kimi, I met with those leaders.
That the kingmakers.
The kingmakers of the party. I wasn't meeting them to give them money. I was meeting them to tell them to sell my plan for the party, the youth wing of the party to them. And then there was another person that was boasting around that he had money to spend. And eventually the person got it. Not because we voted, because when we got to the day of the Congress, there was no vote. No, but I was expecting to put ballots and people would come out and there would be like a pre-debate.
Okay. Your manifesto.
We'll talk about.
They will not say. I don't think they will have those ones in Nigeria anymore.
And what we were told was that no, they don't want to go through that process.
It's waste of resources.
That process always produces surprise for godfathers.
Yeah. So they don't like it.
They don't like it. When you want to test popularity, they don't want it. So what they always want is, we said it's this Mr. B that we want. Mr. A can go to hell. Whether if Mr. A is qualified or not, we don't want to hear it.
But I want to ask a question. Why you guys keep calling them Godfather? And a lot of them don't have God. Why you not just call them Father? Because that will weaken them. When you call them Godfather,
I call you Godfather too now. So why you claim it?
Okay, I mean your Godfather.
I call you Godfather.
Okay, because I preach God to you. maybe that's the reason why you see. Now we've decided to give another narrative to this discourse, the issue of followership. I have a lot of youths like you that keep complaining. Last election, I have someone quite close to me that I know the guy put in the work. The guy went through the process as far as campaigning for election is concerned. But he got a point on election day, even the outcome, he did not even believe himself. I'm sure his other bride not vote for him. Yes. Because he was told that a lot of funds were deployed to the polling booth. Or yes, that he was surprised that the kind of money that was shared there, put all this campaign money has spent so far, it's not even up to 1/10.
That will tell you that the followership, that's what we are saying in a nutshell. The followership have problems. Not only for elections. The leaders are chosen from followership.
Okay.
The leaders in Nigeria, they didn't come from mass.
So faith followers, faith leadership.
They didn't come from the moon.
Okay.
There are people who live with us, who grew up with us, who were educated with us.
Okay.
Some of them even were educated abroad.
Okay.
You understand? So, because they live in a system where everything goes, in 2011, when I was planning to relocate to Nigeria, I was driving with my friends and we were playing music. And in the car, while I was driving, and the guy told me, oh, when you get to Nigeria now, you start living in Nigeria, you can allow your music anyhow. We couldn't do it over there.
You can't.
So he was telling me that, you see, in a few weeks time now, you'll be living in Nigeria, and then you will have the freedom to play your
I put drum in your boot, self.
You understand?
Bars.
You understand? Because he already in his mind knew that you are going to a system where anything goes.
Yeah.
No country can make progress without laws.
Okay.
Nigeria is a country right now where the laws are not totally enforced. It's either partially enforced, it's not totally enforced. So which means we have a system where we have weak institutions and strong men.
Good.
We have, okay, I think it's almost time, so let me just quickly round up.
Okay, no, I want to make us go for a short break now.
Right.
So when we come back, it will be the home stretch for us. We'll just provide solution to the problem that we have. So that we have discovered that Nigerians, we are very good at analyzing the problem. I've watched various TV stations this morning, churches, they have their programs. Everybody's talking about the problem. When will the solution come? So let's go on a short break.
The game of chess is never won unless the queen unifies against the obstacle posed by her opponents. Nigeria can be great again if only we can shun all vices that tears us apart as a nation. Let us embrace each other irrespective of our cultural, religious or political divide. We should ensure that the umbrella of the opposition party is wide enough to sustain our democratic ideals. In the same vein, let the broom of the ruling party be firm enough to sustain our hard-earned democracy. Our call for resource control or restructuring is valid, but the unity of our country is paramount at this point in time. Let us all, as citizens of this great nation, come together to fulfill the Nigeria of our dream, so that the labors of our heroes past won't be in vain. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria.
Welcome back. Before we went on this short break, we said Nigerians are very good with explaining, digesting the problem, discussing it. You go to beer parlors, especially this time, you see everybody. In short, problem identification is not our problem.
Yes.
We already know the problem. We know where the problem is coming from, but what we lack is solution.
Yes, you're correct. I said it to someone yesterday. I said in Nigeria, a market from another market can dissect aeronautics engineering.
Yeah.
She will tell you about it. She will tell you about nuclear
weapons,
nuclear engineering.
Okay.
She will tell you. She will teach you nuclear physics in a market from another market, because in Nigeria we all know the problems, but the solutions
is the problem.
Before President Buhari came, he was everywhere talking about the problems. Oh, you see, subsidy is a problem. You know, we are importing 40 million liters of petrol in every day. It's a problem. And then he got the opportunity. And we are still importing. In fact, we're even importing more. The same person was complaining about subsidy is even paying 3 times the amount.
Which means that Buhari is not the problem, the system is the problem.
If you know the problems, then you should have an idea of the solutions. But that's on the wayside. But like I said, a country that does not have proper enforcement of laws will not make any progress. Let's take for example, you know, when I say we have weak institutions and strong men, if the governor of a state, for example, the son of the governor of a state commits a crime, no police will be bold enough to arrest the person. To say, governor Pekin, you know, I mean, going by governor is even too far. Now, in the West, particularly in America, the laws for everybody. Look at what is happening to Donald Trump today. He's facing
Impeachment inquiry.
And if they find him guilty, he's impeached. Not only impeached, he might end up in prison. That is the most powerful man in the world right now. The most powerful man in the world right now. Look at what he's going through. Because in the West, they have strong institutions and weak men. The institutions are stronger, which means the FBI can arrest anybody in America, even the state president. Whereas you have a system in Nigeria where even the EFCC, the ICPCs, the police, and the security agencies, the president can call them and say, oh, leave that person alone, leave the person alone. A man commits a crime, we know that he has committed a crime, he has stolen money, he joins a ruling party, and the president prevails on the person and the security agent to let go of the man. They let go. They even refund properties that have been seized from him, they refund to the person. It's a sign of a weak institution. When the president is more stronger than all the institutions in the country, it's a weak system, and that's where we are.
So what's the solution? Like we said, what is the solution?
The solution is laws. First of all, in Nigeria today, we have to remove that word, immunity.
Immunity, okay.
Because it has been grossly abused by our politicians. I heard the vice president say the other day that he is waiving immunity. You can't waive immunity. If you are being investigated for a crime, you step down. This attitude of Africans always thinking that, oh, I must die in power, I must remain in power. You understand? We have to first of all remove it. Go for a new constitution. Nigeria can be a great country. Sincerely, we have the resources. I'm not just talking about the oil and all that. I'm talking about the minds of Nigerians. Nigerians are doing very well over the world. You understand? In my school, where I was schooling, Nigerians were the brightest people among the Africans in the school. Nigerians were the best. Nigerians were the smartest. In fact, they look at Nigerians, people are always, when they deal with you, they're always cautious because they know that your mind worked faster than the computer. People had that respect for Nigerians. Nigerians are smart people. Now, we have a very wrong constitution. A constitution that does not promote meritocracy. So you don't get to where you are because you merit it. You get to where you are because you have some godfathers. You get to where you are because, look at the president today. The president's daughter and the chief of staff's daughter, their names, they put them in CBN. Not because they were qualified, but because the father is the chief of staff to the president. So the daughter automatically gets a slot in CBN. Not because she has worked.
If you were there, what would you do?
Different.
Okay, your son wouldn't get a slot.
Different. I mean, as a president, we know in Nigeria as president, you are untouchable. But when you grossly abuse the system like that, it calls for concern.
But this is not, it's not just Buhari that is doing it.
I'm not saying just Buhari.
Okay,
I'm not just doing, I mean, other presidents have done the same.
Okay.
They've used the privileges of their office.
So in a nutshell, so I would wrap up this conversation. The constitution should be dissected and rearranged.
The constitution has to be a sponge, first of all.
Okay, sponge the constitution completely.
Then get a fresh constitution. A constitution that has the contribution of Nigerians.
What's your take on the confab report?
How many times have you voted in a referendum for anything to be added or removed from our constitution?
The only thing we hear is 1999 constitution as amended.
You understand?
So we'll be looking for the tailor that amended it. We don't see the
other countries, when they want to do a constitution, they bring out the topic. Say, okay, should we have immunity for public office holders? Yes or no? And everybody will vote.
Yeah.
Everybody is, and in fact, the voting, everybody must vote. If you're a government worker and you don't vote, you don't get a salary.
Yeah.
That's so you are entitled to vote. If you're a business owner and you don't vote, there are some penalties that you will face. So everybody has to vote. So you have to decide. It is Nigeria who will decide if we should have immunity for president or governors. Not some few people deciding for us. So we have to have a new constitution that is inclusive of the ideas and the minds of Nigerians, that carries everybody along. Right now, we don't have that kind of constitution. We have a constitution that was written to please General Abacha.
Okay.
That's what we are seeing today.
Okay, now, I asked a question that what's your take on the confab report?
Well, the confab report was very good. I might not be happy with the amount spent on it, but it's something that President Buhari should have looked into, because they came out with some brilliant ideas in that report that the president shouldn't have discarded. And if he had followed that confab report, we wouldn't have had the amount of agitations we have today. Because that report address some critical issues, some critical concerns from different angles of Nigeria. Because everywhere you go to Nigeria, people are complaining, oh, we're being marginalized, we've not had power, we've not had this, oh, power comes to this side, power comes to that. That confab address some of those issues.
Now, you said something now. You were saying something about a referendum for constitutional amendment.
Yes.
But we discover that most times, when our leaders come up with things like even that confab, the reason why the president then, President Goodluck then, came up with the confab setting was because of political purposes.
Not really.
I'm coming. You know, it was already getting close to
yes.
the elections, and he felt that the tide was not in his favor.
Yes.
So he needed something to boost his chances of winning. So that kind of report is already, the process on its own is already compromised. Well, so if you are to hand over the report to me as the president, I want to give a second thought to that kind of report. That, come on, what's the motive for this old confab thing in the first place? This man wanted to win the election. He felt there is a need for me to unite Nigerians so that I can fall into their good books, or to increase my approval rating so that I can win the election. They came up with the confab, report came out. No matter how brilliant that idea is, you want to give it a second thought and say, is this something, is it a document that I should look into?
Well, I said before that the president should have looked into it, no matter what
it was the motive, okay.
Because I took time to go through that confab report and I looked at some of the things that were discussed. That report talked about giving reducing the powers of the federal government. The federal government in Nigeria has so much powers. It talked about reducing the powers of the federal government. It talked about increasing revenue to oil producing areas. It also talked about immunity for public office holders and so many discussions that they had. And it was fantastic. Forget the politics in it, it was fantastic. Because it also talked about the process of selecting the chairman of INEC. And it profiled an independent body selecting the INEC chairman. You don't become a president and you select. If I am president tomorrow, I can just appoint my brother as INEC chairman. You understand? So it gave room for some independence for INEC. Which means the chairman cannot come from the president. The president cannot appoint chairman. You cannot appoint someone to oversee your election. Which means we have an independent body of those who are not politically interested. Which means you have maybe religious leaders, judges and all that. You have a body of independent people who are purely independent. You have a body. These are people that will select one person from the Congress. Okay, you are the INEC chairman. Not the president appointing anybody he likes.
No.
Nobody that will do his bidding. So that confab addressed so many issues. Okay. And the president should have looked at it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fares Okpere. I think it's on notes that we would like to wrap up the conversation today. There's something we've been able to establish here. You see, we've been talking for 1 hour, but we agreed on one thing, that the Constitution should be stepped aside.
Of course.
So that we cannot sit down and come up with our own Constitution. So that whenever we hear the phrase, we the people will be happy that they are the people. Yes, the people will be happy that we are the people that wrote this Constitution, because it is our document, and therefore it makes administration to be easy. It makes obeying laws to be easy, because you are aware that you are part of the process that produced that law. Thank you very much, Mr. Fares Okpere, for stopping by. Once again, on behalf of the staff and management of TSL Nigeria, we'd like to wish Nigeria a happy 59th Independence celebration. Mr. Fire, please hold my.
Can't just come home like this.
It's love.
Yeah, hold on now.
Yeah. We